Today on the show, we're going to talk about the top 3 video games that I'm excited to see in the first quarter of 2014. There have been a lot announced already, so let's just get started. Before we go any further, I would like to stress that this is the first quarter of 2014 we're talking about, so there is no Persona 5 on this list, although overall for this year, Persona 5 is probably the game I'm most excited about. At number 3, we have Fable Anniversary Edition. Now, I'd be lying if I wasn't saying that I'm sick of all these remakes and reboots and restarts, because I think at this point, we just expect a company to do that. But Fable is a game that is really close to my heart, so when I found out it was getting remade in HD, I pooped a little. Fable is one of my favourite video game series of all time. I mean, one of my first ever videos on this channel was A History of Albion. Fable 1 and Fable 2 were both very, very good, even though Fable 2 was kind of short. But if this game is just an HD translation of the original, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed. I really like it when remakes and reboots add subtle Easter eggs or subtle new mechanics into the game. I mean, if I just wanted to play the original, I'd just play the original. This being said, I'm sure Lionhead will come through for all of us and surprise us with something last minute, and the game's gonna be fun no matter what because it's Fable. It's super effective! Now number 2 is Infamous Second Son. Now for all of you that don't know, there are 3 Infamous games, though I haven't played one of them, but I've definitely played Infamous 1 and Infamous 2, and I enjoyed them a lot. Infamous also had a comic book series that was published by DC Comics, but I didn't get that because I was quite late on the bandwagon, and I don't think my local comic book store ever provided the Infamous comics, which kind of sucks. I like the Infamous series because there are a lot of games out there where you get to use powers in the game, and you're like, yeah, I'm playing a game where I get to use powers. But in Infamous, you feel like you are using the powers, like it's all coming from you. I mean, it's obviously not, but it takes an amazing game to be able to convey that. Plus, the game was made using actors that did motion capture, which meant they had to get in physical theatre specialists, which is the type of work that I do. I don't know, I've done a fair amount of voiceover and a lot of physical theatre, and I think adding physical theatre into the mix of actors that can work in video games just opens up the opportunities for me personally even more, which just makes me even more excited about this game. Plus, inside of the game, you can absorb other people's abilities. I mean, what if you absorb someone else's ability and it begins to kill you? That would be such an amazing thing to explore. All in all, this game has a lot of potential, and if it's executed right, it will be amazing, not just for the game itself, but for the industry as a whole. And I can't wait to play it. I need to get a PS4 first though. It's super effective! Next, we have Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster for the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita. Now, I go against popular opinion and I say I really enjoyed Final Fantasy X-2. I really liked the reintroduction of the job system and what they did with that. I think it was really clever, though I do admit it could be irritating at times how it took up a turn in battle. Though I understand why this was done, because if it didn't take up a turn, there would have been people complaining that battles were too easy. Lots of people complain about X-2's storyline as well. And yeah, the storyline was kind of subpar for a Final Fantasy game, but really, as a game overall, it wasn't that bad of a story. Honestly, the graphics in these games, when I first played them, were stunning, and now I play them back and I'm like, oh, that's kind of not realistic looking in the slightest. But seeing them in HD will just be amazing and a whole new experience, and I can't wait to see that. Also, a slightly behind the scenes thing that really excites me is the Final Fantasy X 2.5 novel. Now, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but what I will say is this novel lays the foundation for a Final Fantasy X-3 if Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remakes sell well. I've been looking at this a lot on the internet, and I genuinely saw a comment saying, they're doing too much with Final Fantasy X, do something more with Final Fantasy VII. Really? I get it, Final Fantasy VII was an incredibly popular game, but that world has been explored. Let's give it a rest and explore the worlds of 9, 10, 5, 3, there are so many worlds to choose from, so there's no point in just putting the focus all on one game when there are so many options. And a lot of people say, yeah, but Final Fantasy VII was my first Final Fantasy game, so I want to see more of that world. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, it is a little bit like saying, I was born in this town and I am never going to leave this town because what else do I need? I think if you're disappointed that they're exploring Final Fantasy X more and not Final Fantasy VII, just take a moment to breathe and just be happy that they are exploring other worlds and they might do something like that with Final Fantasy VII in the future. All in all, these HD remasters really excite me because of the potential of a Final Fantasy X-3, and that's why it's at number 1. It's super effective! Just a quick side note before I finish this video. I'm working really hard on quite a long video for Friday, which is why today's video is quite short because I need to get it done and then just get back to work on Friday's video. So I hope you can all just be patient with me and understand that this is a lot of work, but I'm doing my best for all of you. Okay guys, that is it for today. Leave a comment down below, tell me which games you're excited for, and also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. My name is Faust, this has been a top 3, and it is super effective.